Welcome back to the Backyard Professor Chess videos. Let's do another Bobby Fischer game. I want to continue this series. It's a really important Grandmaster series to study, and I'm going to have to start hopping on it if I'm going to finish this Bobby Fischer series anytime soon within my lifetime. I have so much I want to cover, and this is truly going to be a gigantic help for all of us to learn how to play good chess by observing what Bobby Fischer did. Fischer is the white. He's playing Stevens in the black. This is 1956 still. They're playing the Ruy Lopez. So Boris Spassky, pay attention. This one's for you, as all the other ones will be too, because Boris and I are studying the Ruy Lopez together. We're going to see a very interesting variation in the Ruy Lopez that I've never seen before. Bishop b5, typical. a6, typical. Bishop a4, typical. Knight f6, atypical move. And of course he castles. White usually castles fairly early. Now, here, Stevens took the pawn. Knight takes e4. Notice how Fischer does not hit the knight with his next move. He does not go here. He goes here. He goes to d4, hitting the center pawn. Interesting. The knight's hanging anyway, right? If you move the rook over, then the knight will have to move. Fischer is more interested in the pawn at this point. Yes? b5, of course, hitting the bishop one more time. Bishop bumps down to b3. Now the center is being fought for. He does support his knight with his central pawn. Good fight for the center in this Ruy Lopez, yes? D will take the e5. And bishop comes to e6. Great development on black, huh? Each and every piece is coming out, instantly hitting and controlling the center, or attempting to, at least arguing for the center. Very nice. You bump the c3, usually is white, because you want to keep your white squared bishop. If he does get hit again, you can bump him down to c2. And bishop c5, big move here. Knight b to d2, another big, really important move in this particular variation. And now black will castle. And Fischer puts his bishop to c2, after all, hitting the knight. And this initiates what is called the famous Dillworth Variation, where the knight takes f2. Very interesting. I've never seen the Dillworth Variation in the Ruy Lopez until this game. So this is kind of a remarkably interesting variation. The rook takes the knight, of course, because the king can't, because the bishop's covering. The bishop takes the rook. So this puts white down the exchange, except that he sacrificed the knight so that black is down a piece, and now f6. So I've never seen this, and then Fischer takes the f-pawn, of course, and the queen will take. He doesn't want to disrupt his king cover by taking with the pawn. The retake with the pawn is wrong. You want to retake with a piece. You want to keep as much king cover as you can. I mean, that's just simple logic, yes? Now Fischer puts his king back to g1, and Stevens puts his rook over here to e8. Knight will come to f1. He's going to rearrange his pieces just a bit. And now knight to e5, again, wonderful, powerful central control here, as much as humanly possible. Knight to e3, Fischer isn't giving him an inch, if at all possible. And knight takes f3. He's going to change down. Interesting that black keeps changing down, and Fischer has an extra piece on board. Oh, whoops. I did that wrong. I'm sorry. Knight took f3 and queen took f3. And now queen takes f3, and then the pawn takes f3. And rook will take f3. Now Fischer's king looks dangerously in the open, doesn't it? And then the bishop to d1. And now the rook goes back to f7. And amazingly, it was here that a draw was agreed to. But the comment here is, if black would have brought his rook to f6, he would have been back on top. He put it in the wrong spot. Perhaps that's why Fischer called for a draw, or Stevens asked Fischer for a draw. I'm not sure who called for the draw, but it's very interesting that Fischer, with both bishops, accepted a draw. Now, this was early in his career. We will see, as Fischer maintains his increase in knowledge, which was very speedy, as he gains maturity, he doesn't draw very much more often. He really kept playing. Yeah? And this is remarkable that he's a piece up and took a draw. At this point, I personally would have kept playing, but that's me. So, interesting. So, a short, quick, very interesting Dilworth variation on the Ruy Lopez. I'm going to look that up and see if I can do some research on that, because that looked like a remarkably interesting fighting variation. So, there's your next Bobby Fischer chess game, and I will continue producing more Bobby Fischer chess games. We have a few more draws to get through. I believe the next game he plays in Muller's book is by, Benjamin Owens, and it's a big one. It's going to be a good one. And then Dale Ruth, he plays after that, and that one is going to be a big one. And then Ken Smith, who is, he won the Texas Championship many times and was one of the most active American publishers from the mid-1960s until he died in 1999. And he uses the Mora Gambit in his game against Fischer, and that one's going to be a fun one to look through. So we've got some great Fischer games coming up. This one was a fairly brief, short draw, but it introduced us into an interesting gambit that I will look into more as I look into the Ruy Lopez. I know I'm studying the Ruy Lopez with a friend of mine online, Boris Ospassky. Together, he's put a study together in our chess club on the Ruy Lopez, and we're all kind of looking that over and giving ideas. So, anyway, thanks for watching my chess videos. Be good, do well, have fun, work hard, play well, play hard. Hey, work hard, play hard. You know, I've said work is a four-letter word, yes, but so is play. So is pleasure and enjoyment and goodness. What? You don't think those are four-letter words? Well, neither do I. That's why they don't call me Einstein. All right, that's enough silliness. All right, you guys. I will check you out and see you in the next Backyard Professor Chess video.